Ladies, gentlemen, and harmonica enthusiasts, we are very glad to be back on your screen debating what Smash Bros. Character is the best. Which one is it gonna be? I just don't have no idea. Is it gonna be Kirby, or is it gonna be, no doubt, undoubtedly fan favorite, Minecraft Steve? We're gonna have everything to say about it in, well, about for 10 minutes or so. Joining us today, of course, we have Patnat, Daniel Bird, Trent Goldguy 8, and Pandonius. Guys, what do we think about these two people here?
I think Panda and I may have made a mistake when we both put Steve on our lists.
Yeah,
because we were just excited about the announcement, and I think some
that
of us
is
just
a
thought it would be fun.
one-sided feeling. That is a very one-sided feeling.
So like there were like 3 characters or so that only 2 of us in the group picked, and those are the ones that we made public forums about. Steve was on that list and smashed all of the other results on that list. So clearly, some of you guys out there like this Steve guy. I don't have anything against Steve. I think I'm glad they added Steve. You know, I was wanting them to add it since 4, I believe. You know, I thought like, yeah, it'd be cool if Steve's in Smash. I could see it, some cool move styles. They expanded on his movesets beyond my wildest of dreams, though. Like, I would not have expected them to reference that much in his versatile moveset or whatnot. So like, I've got nothing against him. I think when put up against Kirby, though, it's kind of interesting that Kirby gets put up because these are some of the more goofier characters for sure. But goofier in like appearance and demeanor, but definitely not in moveset, because Steve has a crazy complicated collection of moves to the point where I don't even know if I'm doing them right a lot of the times, you know? It's about time Steve is in there. I think just because of the state that Smash Brothers is now in, maybe you couldn't argue the same when Minecraft first came out, because Smash was much more Nintendo oriented, but with all these other third-party characters, it makes so much sense to add Steve. But I think, I'm gonna be honest, just going into this, I'm kind of leaning more towards Kirby, just because I feel like, you know, representation-wise, obviously Kirby has been around a lot longer than Steve, but also I think Kirby is just so much more accessible and downright more fun to play. And I don't know if anyone would dispute that. Like, how many of you guys don't like playing as Kirby?
So, you know, I'm gonna slip in here now. Even for starters, yeah. I wish there was a way they could both lose. However,
brutal.
I am already leaning towards Steve just because, like, thinking back about Kirby, I don't think I've ever enjoyed playing as Kirby, and I most definitely do not enjoy playing against Kirby.
That surprises me.
Yeah,
that really surprises me.
To be fair, a lot of that has been tainted because of some of one of the friends I play with who plays as Kirby. But
yeah, shout out to Bombastic for being the worst person to play Smash with.
Yeah. One of the, but I don't know, kind of floaty, just kind of not super fun, and I never feel like the match ever holds any significance when you're playing as Kirby. It's kind of just like, yeah, I'm kind of getting bored of the game, and we'll try Kirby, you know.
I think with Kirby, like, the satisfaction of when things do work out holds a lot of weight to it, you know? While with Steve, when things work out for Steve, it just feels like, I guess that worked. I guess that minecart picked you up or something like that, right? Or like, oh, I gipped you off the stage because I placed a block. Okay. I guess I don't get the same amount of gratification as when I successfully beat down someone as Kirby, when I'm not spamming it like Seth does. But... So I don't know. I would say I still feel like Kirby is just more fun to play and definitely easier to learn.
You know,
if you're talking about.
I feel like when Kirby's involved, it's like, all right, this is Mario Party, not Smash Bros. It's kind of just like, it's just a little too goofy and silly and like.
And you don't feel that way against Steve? I mean, I would say Steve takes the cake for goofy play.
He's goofy, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like he's got some potential competitively. He's not annoying to fight. He can't
arguably
just
too
float
much
underneath the stage and back around the.
He can literally glide.
He can't make it all the way, I don't think. But
yeah,
like,
to be fair, I don't think Kirby can either. I think, oh no, Kirby can. Yeah, Kirby can. Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know. Kirby, it's just like, oh, you're being Kirby. All right, cool. But it's like, with Steve, it's like, oh, you know what? That's kind of neat. All right, you're trying to figure him out. All right, whatever, cool.
Well, okay, so Trent, I think this is a good question to ask you because you've only played Steve like a little bit, right?
Yeah.
How easy is it to play Steve, and then once you play him for a bit, how much fun is he to play?
So I was gonna speak exactly on that exact thing. I feel like it's very complicated to understand his format. Like, he's the kind of character where you have to Google search like what moves he does and how they work and then figure it out. And I feel like Smash Bros has been heading in this direction recently, where when they add a new character, like besides like Piranha Plant, even Piranha Plant's kind of weird, but like they make them overcomplicated with all these gimmicks. And like back in the day, it was like punch, kick, projectile, like it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Here it's like
I'd agree with that.
it's a little too complex. However, the first thing when I saw this character come out is people like studied it, figured it out, and then they have these tactics to just destroy people. So like there's already people who are like mastering Steve, and I feel like he's a very competitive character, in a weird way. Maybe it's just because he's not predictable.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what it is. I think the more complexity you add to a character, the more opportunity it gives for better players to learn that complexity and use it to their advantage or whatnot. So I definitely think Steve has a lot of competitive value. And yeah, I'd argue more than Kirby, but I think the different thing is like if you don't know how to play as Steve and you play against someone who doesn't know how to play Steve, it becomes a lot less of a competitive match. While with Kirby, I feel like it's a middle line.
It was competitive.
Well, I would say it's the same amount of competitive.
Can I jump in here and say that I feel like we're comparing these two characters a little unfairly to where we're assuming that we're when it comes to Steve, we're questioning the player's ability, but when it comes to Kirby, we're not. So I feel like we should be comparing Steve to Kirby, not a Steve player to a Kirby player.
I mean, I think I personally have to keep players in mind because a big part of Smash for me is just the accessibility of the character. When you have like 100 characters to work with, a lot of them I'm simply not going to pick up because they're just too complicated for me to learn. I've given Steve a really fair shot over the last several weeks that he's been out, and it's someone who, like, after playing, I could just feel like this is not going to be someone I'm going to stick with, because you either have to fully commit or just back out completely is what it feels like with Steve. While with Kirby, you could jump in at any skill level. At any skill level, you could pick Kirby and understand how to play him or whatnot, even if you don't go full competitive with him. And I think that's what's kind of sticking out with me, Kirby. Also, it's worth mentioning, Kirby's got one move that is super, super unique, but also it's such a staple in Smash Brothers and adds so many possibilities, which is his neutral B. Can you think of a world where no Kirby neutral B existed and no costume changes, no Kirby turning different things? Even if Kirby eats Steve, turns into a freaking cube, man. And it's like, I would love to see Kirby in a freaking cube, because and even just his regular customizable options, like he has drastic color changes that have become iconic.
I
different
love
colors of Kirby. Like the black Kirby with yellow eyes and the purple, and like the white Kirby. How many times have you fought with your sibling back for like who gets which Kirby costume? Yeah, exactly. To the point where that even transferred to games like Kirby Air Ride, where it's like you have different color customizations and people would fight over it there too. To be fair though, Steve also has some pretty decent ones, kind of decent,
you're
honestly.
Hitting me with the nostalgia for Kirby. Now I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe we've had.
Well, we can talk about nostalgia for Minecraft if you want.
Well, all right,
because that's been around for 10 years.
But I will say that the line that I draw, because I'm kind of back and forth between them too, because I agree, like they're both kind of weird characters that I'd rather not have here, but they're still like top or tier, so I don't know. But I would say that Steve, because he like the Enderman is what throws me, right? Because the zombie's fine, it's like the same shape as him. Enderman is just like they squish him shorter. Like,
the Enderman was a weird choice.
His movement is unnatural because he usually teleports, and like you're seeing the Enderman like hopping around with
just
a
as if we need to
pickaxe.
squish this episode a little bit shorter as well.
Yeah, it's just like also his other costume changes I don't feel like are super important. Like it's cool they included Alex or whatnot. I didn't need 3 variants of Alex and Steve, which all from like, because like the whole point of Minecraft is making your own skins. Like that's not what's iconic about it. No, sorry. Let me rephrase that. The whole point of skins in Minecraft is that you make them yourself. So when you pull up pre-made skins from the company, it just feels less special. But they could have gone with like other mobs similar to like maybe a zombie pigman, a skeleton, or something like that. And I feel like having a skeleton Steve would be something that's kind of cool because it actually messes with his geometry and whatnot. But ultimately, I think what a weird inclusion not include the bow.
We kind of, speaking of inclusion, we kind of cut Panda out of this.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like Panda, feel free to go for it.
Panda's gonna need to jump right into the final thoughts here.
These two characters are very, very different, completely different. The only thing that I would say that they have in common is that they're very, like, kind of gimmicky characters, and the people who use them competitively are just really good at exploiting those gimmicks. But overall, I would say that you can't really compare the two directly, and so I'm just gonna vote based off of who I like more, and that's gonna be Steve.
Interesting. All right. Well, I already said my thoughts that I agree with, and I'm gonna say with Kirby.
I'm gonna also have to go with Kirby. I think just is way more important to Smash than Steve is, and also I think he's more fun for more players, and that's kind of important to me. As much as I like Steve's inclusion, I am also in the boat where it's like I feel like Steve shouldn't really be on this list. Honestly, I feel like.
I agree.
In part of it is just that he's so new. Like we don't have a chance to fully know him and appreciate him yet.
We can't even really use the competitive aspect because
Right.
he hasn't even had all his updates yet.
Yeah,
He's probably going to change.
This
a
is
lot
several weeks
before.
after. I mean, they already did update and change him a little bit already. So it's like, yeah, I just have to go with Kirby. I think Kirby's more fun to play, more fun to play against, and more important to the series.
Now, okay, so for me, you guys hit me with the nostalgia, which is why I'm having second thoughts because now I'm thinking Kirby, but I'm going to embrace the future and forget the nostalgia and go with Steve because
You like playing Steve.
I like playing Steve. I don't like Kirby.
I think Daniel just
I
hates
don't-
Kirby more than he likes
I
Steve.
really. That's,
Bombastic has given us a sour experience with Kirby. So wait, is that 2 Steves and 2 Kirbys? Then?
Still, that is a valid like
Every
viewpoint
point's
on it.
valid. So then, Spots, you're gonna have to tiebreak for us.
I know in an earlier episode I said that I sometimes like to go off of a historical context, and this time I feel like it's not that important, and I will admit that I am biased towards Steve. When you think of all of the good top tier characters, what really allows them to be top tier is versatility and the wide variety of moves that the character not only gives you to execute, but also allows for different strategies altogether to be played out. See, I really want to vote Steve, but unfortunately I have to vote based off of who gave the better argument here. So I will have to place my vote on Steve to beat out
Little
Kirby.
switcheroo.
yeah, he like grabbed out his Uno card.
I'll definitely say that like of all the brackets we've done so far, this is the one where I'm like, come on guys. I feel like Kirby should have slam dunked this one. I don't know. I'm disappointed because like I don't think Kirby's gonna make it super far in the losers bracket, but like it should have lost to something other than
Well, if it
than
makes
Steve.
you feel better, there's no way Steve's gonna win against anyone. in the
Maybe join us next time. 'Cause we'll
Hey,
be talking
I mean,
about it.
This is the end of round 1. Round 2, we got Falcon versus Fox, and we also have Titans. I mean, 2 Titans of gaming. Mario versus Steve. What we'll have to say in that one, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm not even watching the series. But and then also, if we knocked out a favorite character in one of the previous episodes, you don't have to worry about that because we are also doing a losers bracket where DK will face against Ganon, Pokemon Trainer will face against Kirby, and then a couple losers down the line they will also be included. So, I mean, hey, if that really sounds interesting, I recommend you sticking around with the channel. And in the meantime, you can go back and rewatch all of our old discussions on the other characters. This concludes round 1. And I hope you enjoyed your time listening to us. And we'll see you in the next debate.